This week's Parsha is famously known for containing the Teichacha, loosely translated in English as the curses. Hashem clearly lays out to the Yidden the good rewards that will happen when they fulfill His will, and also the bad things that will happen if they don't. The Torah describes 98 full curses that could befall on a person for betraying Hashem and betraying the Yidden. And unfortunately, a lot of these things weren't just theoretical, but they actually played out throughout Jewish history, because they're all expressions of Golus, they're all expressions of our exile. And what's so interesting is that the Gemara tells us that there are 3 things that Hashem regrets bringing into existence. The first thing that Hashem regrets, the Gemara tells us, are the oppressive empires like Bavel, the Romans, the Greeks. Hashem regrets letting those come into existence. The second thing the Gemara tells us is that Hashem regrets having Yishmael's descendants continue to live. Many of Yishmael's descendants were Arabs who caused a lot of suffering to the Jews over the years. The third thing that the Gemara tells us is the Yetzer Hara, our evil inclination to do bad things. And the fourth thing is Golus, the exile that we're in. Now the problem is, how does Hashem have regrets? Hashem was the one who brought the evil empires into existence in order to punish us, like He said in this week's Parsha. Hashem was the one who let Yishmael's descendants live for the reasons that He had. Hashem was the one who left the Yetzer Hara in us, because that's what happened after Adam and Chava did the Aveira, and now we have bad in our life. It's all a chain reaction. Hashem was the one who orchestrated that Golus comes into our lives because of the actions that we did. These are all things that Hashem put with a purpose. So how could you say Hashem regrets it? And really, how could you say that Hashem regrets anything? When it comes to Hashem, the past, present, and future are all one. And therefore, Hashem obviously knew the end result and what would happen at the beginning, middle, and end. So how could Hashem regret something if when putting it in, He knew what was going to happen? But what makes this even more confusing is that we know Golus is only here to help us. The benefit of Golus is the third Beis HaMikdash and Mashiach. So if it ultimately serves a good purpose, why is there a regret? So explains the Rebbe that when we're using the term regret when it comes to Hashem, it's not to say that Hashem, Chas v'Shalom, made a mistake and now He wishes He never did that. It's meaning to say that there is something here that is not in Hashem's innermost positive will. It's something that needs to be done, but is not positive. And if it's not positive, it's ultimately not destined to last. And therefore the Gemara tells us, these are the 4 things that are not in Hashem's innermost will, they're not positive, and therefore they are destined to go away. Our rabbis tell us that when Mashiach comes, the nations that were oppressing us will now be helping us serve Hashem. They'll be serving us, enabling us to serve Hashem. The Yetzer Hara will transform to be another Yetzer Tov. We will now have 2 good inclinations pushing us to do good things. Golus will completely disappear. All we had to do was change our perspective, and the Gemara that once looked like something that's telling us that Hashem regrets putting us in this actually shows a message of hope, that all these things, that all the challenges in our lives are just there to help us get stronger. They're there to help us be better people, and they're there to help us elevate the world. And it's our job to start looking at life that way. Not to look at life negatively and then look back with regrets, but look at it as an opportunity to become better. Look at all the curses as blessings in disguise, because that's what they are. There's a famous story of the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, who used to read the Torah every single Shabbos in his shul. One week he was out traveling on behalf of the Jewish people, and someone else learned the Torah that week on Shabbos. It happened to be a week where they were learning the curses. And when the Alter Rebbe's son, the Mittler Rebbe Reb Dovber, heard the Baal Koreh read the curses, he fainted. He later explained that the reason why he fainted was because all these years when his father, the Alter Rebbe, would learn the curses, he heard blessings, he didn't hear curses. This was the first time he saw the negative side of things. He saw the negative aspect of the curses, and therefore he fainted in fear. That's the mindset that we need to have if we want to get through this goals, because when we look at all our challenges, not as a struggle, but rather as a stepping stone to get higher, there is no challenge in the world that will stop us, and we're on a straight path right to the coming of Mashiach. May He come speedily in our days. Wishing you a wonderful Shabbos.